Don't you forget about me. I'm sorry, like there is no way you saw the name, the title of the tag, and that was not the song that came to mind. Like,
Forget about me.
the Don't You Forget About Me tag was created by Jolene over at Bookworm Adventure Girl. And like, I'm certain you all expected it at this point, but Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can. Hi everybody, another day, another tag video, and this time around I'm actually having a lot of fun with this because it's a lot of book recommendations, but more I'm not really going to talk about the synopsis of the books, but just my thoughts. Not thoughts, but like the reasons why. Do you know what? Let me go to the tag video so you would understand what I mean, but I'm going to leave the original tag video that Jolene made in the description bar so you can check it out. But the very first question or the very first prompt was, and we are allowed to choose as many books as we want. So I did choose multiple. I didn't go for all my books, but I chose multiple, right? Because
Been given permission to offer you an encore.
so the first prompt is called Clean Slate, and it says books you've read that you don't remember anything about. Now, because of the fact that I wanted to pick multiple books, and I was like, I'm gonna just do this because this is going to be a very funny tag video. I went ahead to choose some of my options. So we will starting with Viper Babex Ogan. Do I know what this book is about?
Let me think a moment.
No. Have I read this book? Yes. Yes, I have read this book. But do I know what this book is about? No. Synopsis says 17-year-old Marianne is fated to one day become the Viper, defender of the 12 Isles. But the reigning Viper stands in her way, corrupt and merciless. He prowls the seas in his warship, killing with impunity, leaving only pain and suffering in his wake. He is the most dangerous man on the ocean and is Marianne's father. She was born to protect the islands, but can she fight for them if it means losing her family, her home, the boy she loves, and perhaps even her life? This synopsis, it's almost like it's written in another language. Like, I have no idea about this book. I think I was so bored and so disappointed and so irritated by this book that my mind is wiped clean of everything. Even now, I cannot remember the name of the character again, and I just bloody read it. The only thing I thought was like, maybe there are vipers in this, but apparently Viper is just a role. But were there actual vipers in this? I have no idea. I have none. None. I have read this book. I have no recollection of it. Nothing.
I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing.
Next book, A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, or as I like to call it, a book so dull and boring. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. That's the only thing I remember about this book. Do I remember the schematics? Do I remember the actual plot of this? Nope. I just remember that it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I remember that there was some sort of other girls, like not like other girls trope running all the way through this book. And I remember distinctly hating that. This is the first book that made me realize that part that insisted that if I start a series, I need to get the remaining books in the series so that I can read the remaining books in the series, because I absolutely need to finish it, because I need to finish what I start. This book broke me of that. It was like, barabram, varabaram, you have been set free. I have been set free because this was the book that made sure that I never needed to touch the rest of the book of a series that I fucking hated ever again. This book, the only reason I've not on hold it yet is because I've still not found somebody willing to take it off my hands. The minute I do, it is gone. The minute I do, it is gone. honestly have no recollection about this book. I just know it was somebody that irritated me, and it was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I am grateful for this. But yes, this book, it did not cure me of my I cannot DNF a book. That was a whole other book. But this cured me of my I need to finish all the book in a series, because I do not. Because time is short, money is limited, and my mental health deserves all the love.
Who the fuck has time for that bullshit?
Next, Serpent and Dove by Shelby Marine. It's such a pretty sprayed covered book too. I'm also looking for exactly what I can unhaul this to, because I cannot remember this story. I legit have no idea what this book is about. I know that there are witches and witch hunters, and it's a witch hunter falling in love with a witch. And I think I liked the girl, the main character, but I hated the witch hunter boyfriend. Like, I despised his ass. What is his name again? Hold up, let me see. Reed fucking Diggory. Reed fucking Diggory. Trash. I have no recollection about what happened in this book. I just know that I was reading it. When I think about Serpent and Dove, I just have this irritation, this feeling like I have eyes running under my skin and I want to just scratch it out. Like I can just hear nails across the chalkboard, a la Sister Act 2 style. This book, hate it, and thankfully, not even hate it, actually. You know that whole saying about the opposite of love is not hate, is, I think, disinterest or something like that. This is it. I have no interest in this. I have no memory of it. I read this book, and the minute I was done, my brain was like, thank you, next, and we're never going to remember you again.
Sorry to this man.
And then, finally, The Best the Boys by Mary Weber. Why is there an edge in the cover of this book? I have no idea. I think it had something to do with a girl liking chemistry. But I don't know if that is this book or if that is just because I just recently finished Lessons in Chemistry, which if you have the chance to watch that show, you should. It's a fucking brilliant show. But or is it statistics? She's either good in chemistry or statistics. Definitely one of the sciences, and it's in a time when I think girls, and I honestly, I wish I remembered what this book was about. I do not. And that just confirms to me that the only interesting thing about this book was the cover. The only memorable thing about this book was the fact that I was like, it's a green book and there's a hedge on it. Or a maze. Is it called the edge maze? I have no idea. But anyway, this To Best the Boys. I have no idea. My brain has been wiped clean. The next prompt is Genie's Lamp. I'm a genie in a bottle. You gotta rub me the right way. Genie's Lamp, books you wish you could forget.
Wait, what?
For this, I'm going to pick two books. One of them, every time I remember the book, I start screaming again in a way that is just anger, rage, audacity. That's what I feel. And then the second one is, I wish I could forget so I could read it again for the very first time, because it's just that good. So I'm going to put both a book makes me angry when I remember it, and a book that fills me with so much joy when I remember it. And I wish I could forget them, but for two separately different reasons. The first book, I wish I could forget, because every single time I remember it, I am angry. Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi.
It's a disgrace and a travesty, sir.
Now, I already have a full review of this book on my channel. You can go check it out. Just search for Chronicles of Narima, Children of Virtue and Vengeance. It's there. I just wish I could forget what I read. But then again, if I forget, then that means that I might pick this up by accident and be re-traumatized. Because I was traumatized by the use of language, the way in which the Yoruba was written. I was traumatized by the butchering of the characters. I was traumatized by the plot that slogged on. I was traumatized by that slavery ending. I wish I could forget. Because every time someone starts the word children, I remember this book and my brain has that zing of anger and annoyance and rage.
I thought you were bae. Turns out you're just fam. Bruh.
Now, a book I wish I could forget, not because I hated it, but because I loved it so much, I wish I could read it again for the first time. The 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. This entire series, I honestly wish that there was a way in which I could just open my brain and move things around so that I can, like, gently. So it leaves me with that feeling when I felt that when I finished the series and I was like, oh my God. But in the case of somebody said that this book was going to leave me with an oh my God feeling. And then so I can read it again and fall in love all over again. This book, the 5th season, I wish I could read it again for the first time. I really, so good. It's so good. It's so good. When you read a book and you feel like it's so fucking good and you just want to keep reading it over and over. This book, 5th season, I wish I could forget so I can read it all over again with fresh eyes and just be like blown away, amazed, flabberwhelmed. Yes, flabberwhelmed at how great this is. If you've not read the 5th season, you are so fucking lucky. You were so fucking lucky. You're lucky. You get to meet them for the first time. So good.
But wow, what a moment I will never forget. A moment that is most pleasing to me in my career.
Next prompt is Forgotten Gems, and these are books you think need more love. And honestly, you probably are like, what? But I'm going to bring this up again because I know 5th season won the Hugo Awards, like all the books, Obelisk Gate, like it all, the entire trilogy won the awards every single year. But I still think that this book deserves way more popularity than it's got, especially on BookTube. 5th season, she's that girl. She deserves it. All that love, she's that girl.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Yup. She ate that up.
And I also think that Octavia E. Butler in general deserves more love, especially on BookTube. She deserves more love. Lily's Brood has done Adulthood Rights and Imago. This was my first Octavia E. Butler read, and it just science fiction, a questioning of morality, of world, of how we exist, what makes us human, what does it mean when alien life forms have more humanity than humans do, what does it mean when it is that humans naturally react to being treated as test subjects, but then is that a justification? Like there are so many conversations about, is brutality and war and divisiveness, is it as part of human nature as is our ability to be empathetic, to commune, to communicate, to build? Are we as destined to build as we are to destroy, and then rebuild what we've destroyed only to destroy it again? Like, so many questions to explore. I love this series, and she does not get as much love as she deserves.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before, unafraid to reference or not reference, put it in a blender, shit on it, vomit on it, eat it, give birth to it.
What It Means When a Man Falls from the Sky by Leslie Narima is a short story collection that is fantastic, that mixes science fiction with, the vagaries of life and living, with some supernatural elements and some paranormal and so many questions, and it will leave you gasping for breath from the beginning to the end. It is one of the most underrated books. People do not talk about this enough. General, period. What it means when a man falls from the sky.
Breathtaking. It's just breathtaking.
Every single chance I get to talk about Dere Osman as one of my favorite writers ever of all time, I'm always going to take it. Fairy Tales for Lost Children was the very first Dere Osman book I've ever read. I've had this book now. It's going on, I think, 8 years. And this book has comforted me. This was the book that was with me when I was coming to terms with my sexuality. This was the book that was with me when I was finding comfort and home in my body, in my own skin. This was the book that was with me when I was exploring religion and exactly what does it mean and how can I not hate myself but also still love myself. This is a book that was with me when I was exploring what I was going through with regards to my mental health. This is the book that was with me when I was figuring shit out, and did so with bombastic writing and beautiful language and just absolute perfection. This book, Fairy Tales for Lost Children by Dere Osman, would always hold a special place to my heart.
Can you say magnetic? Just keep going. Charismatic.
Next, Botle Chronicles by Ayodele Olofituade. When you have a book that features and centers women, some of whom are queer, misbehaving badly in a patriarchal society that expects them to behave with decency and it's a certain way, and all of them are like, no the fuck not. And then they prevail. And then you have a bit of issue. The trickster, the messenger God, the one that stands between the heavens and the earth, the one that intercedes on behalf of humanity and mankind, the one who is drawn to those who exist outside of the lines, who pushes back. You have the perfection that is Botle Chronicles. And it is so underrated, especially on this platform. But I'm not surprised because BookTube is nothing but very we all know why this book is not getting as much love as it should. We all know, it's not easy being an author that does not live in the US or the UK or in Canada or in Australia, does not live in the global north. It's not easy being an author who resides in the global south. And this book is just so fucking brilliant and does not get enough love. And Ayodele Olofituade, they are such a beautiful, fucking fantastic, vibrant writer, and they do not get enough love.
I think it's a real shame.
Finally, Aias Death by Dr. Nnedi Okorafor. Everybody has like their favorite Nnedi Okorafor, right? Books, and like I love Binti like the rest of them. I love Akata Witch, although in Nigeria the book is titled Sunny. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I love Binti like the rest of everybody else, but Aias Death, this gave me a character that was not simple, was so complex. It's so easy to hate Onyesunwu, and yet she holds my heart. She's raw and vicious and wicked and bold and can be callous but also so empathetic and just so loving and can be also cold. Like, this is my favorite Dr. Nnedi Okorafor book. And it is not as popular as the other books that they have. And I'm still pissed because we were meant to have gotten this adapted into a TV show that never happened. A TV show that would have been produced by George R.R. Martin and never happened. And although Dr. Nnedi Okorafor has been giving signs on Twitter, like people are just taking the fucking piss with the adaptation of this book. If you've not yet read Aias Death, you should consider it. This book does not get enough love, but it is so fucking brilliant and so fucking fantastic. I love it.
What can I say except you're welcome?
And finally, Forget Me Nots, books you will remember. That's just it. So Forget Me Nots, books you will remember. I'm certain nobody's surprised that, of course, I will always remember fifth season. But I do want to bring another N.K. Jemisin book. The city we became, and I will always love you. I will always love you. You, my darling, you, bittersweet memories. This book. I remember the first time I talked about this in a wrap up. When I read it years ago, I mentioned that if I could marry a book, it would be this book, and I've not changed my mind. I still intend to marry it at some point. But yes, this is definitely one of my forget-me-nots. When cities come alive, it's just perfection. I still have not read The World We Live because I'm terrified, because this is just such a perfect book, and I'm just terrified that the second book might ruin it. So for those that have read The World We Live, and if you enjoyed and loved The City We Became, did you also love The World We Live? Just please help a sister out. Still talking about Forget Me Not, Six of Crows, and of course Crooked Kingdom, but like this duology. You know when something has fixed itself into your brain and refuses to dislodge itself? That is me with this series. That is me with these characters. With Kaz and Inej and Jesper and Wyland and Nina and Matthias. Although Matthias did not grow on me until Crooked Kingdom, not gonna lie. And even with that, it did not grow on me the way the other five did. But this book, this series, it has thieves, it had heists, it has fucking amazing, well-rounded characters. It has badass scenes and manipulations and plottings. It has everything that I love. It is Six of motherfucking Crows.
My love knows no bounds, all the way to infinity!
Still speaking of books I'll never forget, The Crow Prince. Like, I'm sorry, I know I have not talked as much about The Crow Prince, but you also know that Jude Duarte is my life and my girl and my queen. Like, I love Carden, but Jude, I would die for Jude. Crow Prince, always a forget-me-not. Like, it's this human girl who learns to play the Fae better than the Faes do themselves. It's this girl who is not likable and is just fucking divine. It's Crow Prince. I love this book so much. I have this is the one expense that I took because I have a lot of copies of this book, of this series. I love it so much. Not forgetting it anytime soon. The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I have not spoken as much about the Poppy War because although you all know how much I love Poppy War and I adore the Dragon Republic. Like, I live for the Dragon Republic. Burning God left me with meh feelings. But it does not mean that the Poppy War and the Dragon Republic are not those books. They are not. It doesn't mean that they are not the books that I would ruin myself. That ruined me. They ruined me. I would never, ever forget this series. Ever. Poppy War.
You complete me.
Of course. Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I love Talia Hibbert. If I was to pick one Talia Hibbert book to come with me always, it's Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I relate so much with Eve. I am as close to her as can possibly get. And the entire basis, the entire premise of this book just makes me so fucking happy. I love it. I love it so much. I like Act Your Age. Like, I love Chloe. I love Danny. But Eve, who's always been asked to act her age and be a grown-up and be adult, she deserves all the love, and this book just makes me so happy. So yes, Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I'm trying to make this fast because this video is long. Oh my god,
this shit is hard.
Most people make this video, and I'm certain their video is not like more than like 19 seconds, but here I am exceeding, probably going to exceed 30 minutes. Why am I like this? Anyway, Cemetery Boys. Aidan Thomas They did that. This was my first Aidan Thomas book I read, and I was like, I would read every other book that they write. And there are still more books that they've released, because I think so far I only have like 3 of their books. There are still more books that they released that I need to buy, but like, you know, when I have the money, I do. But this Cemetery Boys, it's Yadriel and Julian just killed me. It has ghosts, it has hauntings. Yadriel coming into his own, resisting the expectations that culture and society would at like what's pushing onto him because of the gender he had been assigned at birth. I love Cemetery Boy so much. Also, death. So good. And I'm sitting, if this was with my friends, they'll be like, "Duh, Nora." But then it occurred to me that I don't know if I've actually really communicated on this channel that One Piece is my favorite manga of all time, period. Like, other manga can come close, some can be really good, but the one manga, like if it is that they say you can only read one manga for the rest of your life, I am reaching for One Piece in a heartbeat. Monkey D. Luffy would always own my heart, would own my soul. I would always die for him, and for Rurouni as well, and for Nami, and for Sanji, and for Brook, and for Robin, and for Chopper. Maybe Frankie. Okay, yes, and Frankie too. Definitely Jinbei. I'm sorry, the Straw Hats. I would die for Usopp. I'm like, sorry. One Piece is my favorite manga of all time. I would never, ever, ever, ever forget the story. I would always, 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 always love the story. And if you're like, what if Oda ends it in a way that you fucking hate? It would still be my favorite manga of all time, even with a terrible ending. Because there are still people who love Naruto, and there are people who still love Bleach. And the ending of both, although they irritated me, if they had been my favorite manga, I probably would have still been okay. So sometimes I'm like, I don't want to jinx Oda, but yeah, favorite manga of all time.
Oh God, it's so good. So good. So good and tasty.
And then I'm just going to rush through this because Danmei, Guardian by Priest, never gonna forget it. Love it too much. Evans Official Blessings by Muzian Tongsu, never. Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation by Muzian Tongsu. Like, this 3. Moda Zushi, Tiangun Sifu, and Guardian. I would never forget these books. I would always, 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 always love these books. Love these stories. I would always love them. And I will always love these books. Every single one of them. Okay, so sorry. That is it. That is the Don't You Forget About Me tag. A huge thank you once again to Jolene for creating such an amazing tag. And for like, if you have a YouTube channel and you've seen this video and you're interested in doing this tag, please do it. Like, it is, I'll have a lot of fun. Do it, please, and let me know. Tag me so that I can come and watch your video as well. Because I love this tag. I love tag videos. But if you're interested in doing this, like I said, please knock yourself out. Go ahead and do it. Free reign. You got free reign. You can do it. If you like this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, please, before you go. Subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. And if you want to support me, like, leave a comment, share this video if you can. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can consider doing so. I'm creating a community on there, and I think it's fun, and I think you'd have a safe space where you can just be free and open and honest and have a great time and maybe build like community and friendships, because that's what I'm going for. And yes, until I make new videos, new bookish related videos every Friday at 5 p.m. EST, just a reminder. And until then, please keep in mind what I always say. Hyperfixating on the things you love, perfectly valid coping mechanism.